Hello, guys. My name is Adam Bunley, and I have decided to become an entrepreneur for the first time in my life. I recently took a lecture from the world-renowned entrepreneur Dr. Crump, and I will try to regurgitate a few things that I took in. Um, First thing we talked about was the opportunity versus the new idea, the whole thesis, like theory or whatever. That is so useful in entrepreneurs because a lot of times we think just because we think it's cool or just because people will like it, we think people will like it or it'll be profitable in our minds. That doesn't mean that it'll always come out that way. Sometimes it does, but that doesn't mean that it always will. A lot of times we have to think about the opportunity first, the pain, where are the people in need, who are the people in need, what can we do to like relieve that need. And so henceforth there comes that, like, for example, the lady that created the windshield wipers, she was tired of actually like reaching her hand outside the window and physically wiping things off the windshield. So therefore she thought like, okay, I'm not the only one in pain. Like there are other people that's tired of this too. We all tired of this. So therefore she found the opportunity first. Then she made the windshield wipers, which thrive. So, and we still use today. So that's kind of an example of that. We also talked about marketing mix, which is designed to appeal to the target market and its desires and needs. You create this as a business or a venture, and when you create this, it varies. You have to think about, if you're creating a service, you have to think about the 8 P's, which I won't talk into too much because we'll talk more on the product side. The product side, you would think about the 5 P's, which are product, what are you making? What are you giving the customer? Price, how much will it be that you're giving the customer? Promotion, how will you advertise? How will you get this out to the customer? Place, where is your physical setting? Like, where will you be distributing actually to the customers? And people, who will run your venture? Who will help you stay above the the lows? Who will help you um, carry this venture out? Pretty much. My bad. Had a brain freeze. Um, we also talked about explaining value proposition. Um, Value proposition. What I took in about this is that it is what makes you different. Like what makes people say, okay, I will get yours. I will go get your product over this product any day. Like the status quo could be the norm, the norm. What makes your product say, what makes people say, okay, this is the norm, but I'm looking for this. Like I want this. Like I want this above the norm. Like for example, the norm back in the days was typewriters. That was the norm. So that was the status quo. Like when a person decided to make a computer, like that was, like, come on, that's not the norm. Like this is above. Like, but people will understand this is different. I won't have to steady rip sheets off when I make incorrections and restart. It's a lot different. So that kind of is what I took in. What makes your product or anything stand up? You know what I'm saying? Above the norm. Now, which it could be, close to the norm, which is no problem to me. But I figure if you want people to come to you, you got to be awesome. So this is how I feel. For starting a new venture, you could we talked about how people would do concept tests. Like you can make prototypes, you can make replicas of your product that you're selling, or if you're actually starting to make products, you can go to games in your city, or you can go to events in your city, you can go to the fairs and carnivals and stuff like that, and you can actually product test and see what consumers want and see what people see. And or you could also make visuals explaining to people like what your service does, if it's a service, or what your product does, how does it work, how will you get it to people, how will people react, how many people are willing to buy this. You have to explain all them things. So I feel like all these things are important as an entrepreneur because we have to know what we are doing before we do it, because you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Nothing's wrong with failing, but you don't want to set yourself up for